You know the scene. You've seen it in 100 movies. The brand new, fresh out of college second lieutenant shows up, all book smarts and ambition. And who's there to meet him? The grizzled, seen-it-all senior NCO, the sergeant who is just not impressed by a shiny new rank. It's a classic setup, right? But is it just a Hollywood trope, or is there something deeper going on? So let's really break this down. On one side, you have the junior officer. They've got the degree, the official commission, the rank. Their whole job is to focus on the big picture, the why behind the mission. But on the other side, you've got the senior NCO, the non-commissioned officer. They have something you can't get in a classroom. Years, sometimes decades of real-world experience. They've got that gut-level knowledge of how to actually get things done. It's a total mismatch on paper. So, what is this really all about? Is it just a simple personality clash? You know, young arrogance versus old-school pride? That's the easy answer. But what if it's not about the people at all? What if the tension is actually built into the system itself? To figure that out, we have to get past the stereotypes and actually look at some data. So let's move beyond the war stories and take a more analytical look at this whole leadership dynamic based on what people have actually reported. And we're not just talking about a handful of examples here. This is a deep dive into 200 different public accounts, everything from memoirs and leadership forums to official military papers, all detailing these exact moments of Officer-NCO conflict. And the person who did all this digging is Dr. Rony A. Rodas. Now, what's so fascinating about his work is his background. He's not just some academic looking at this from the outside. Dr. Rodas is a former enlisted sergeant NCO himself. He has lived this culture in peacetime and in war. So he's seen this dynamic from both sides, which gives his analysis some serious credibility. You know, according to official military doctrine, this is how it's supposed to be. They call it the command team. And in a perfect world, it is a perfect partnership. The officer provides the what and the why, while the NCO uses their experience to figure out the how and lead the soldiers. On paper, it's a beautiful thing. So if the ideal is this perfect team, where does all the friction come from? Well, the research points to a really fundamental clash between two very, very different kinds of authority. First, you've got formal authority. This is the easy one to understand. It's the power that comes with the rank on your collar. It's granted by the organization, it's written down in the rule books. It's the official power to give an order and expect it to be followed. Simple, clear, black and white. But then there's practical authority, and this is a whole different ballgame. You can't be given this kind of power. You have to earn it. It comes from years in the trenches, from being the one who knows how things really work, and most importantly, from earning the genuine trust and respect of your soldiers. This is the authority of the stripes on an NCO sleeve. And right there, that's the heart of it. The conflict we see over and over isn't just random. It's not about one guy being a jerk. It's a structural problem baked right into the military's DNA, where the officer's formal power and the NCO's practical power are often put in direct competition with each other. So now that we understand the why, Dr. Rodas's research also tells us where. It pinpoints the exact situations where these two kinds of authority are most likely to collide. These are the flashpoints, the common battlegrounds for this conflict. Before we get to the numbers, this quote just nails the human side of it. The reason these conflicts get so heated is that often both the officer and the NCO truly believe they are doing the right thing. They both think they're taking care of their soldiers. They just have completely different ideas of what that means. And so each one sees the other as failing in their most basic duty. And this chart, built from those 200 narratives, shows exactly where things blow up. You can see the two biggest problem areas, by a long shot, are disagreements over tactical decisions, the how of a mission, and arguments over administrative stuff and workload. This is where the officer's plan crashes into the NCO's reality. And right behind that, you see clashes over standards and discipline. Okay, but this isn't just a story about a problem without a solution. The research doesn't just point out what's broken, it also shows us how to fix it. So let's look at what the most effective teams do to manage this tension and actually use it to make them stronger. First, here are the big red flags. The stories describing toxic relationships were all full of this stuff. Constant sarcasm, publicly undermining each other's decisions, keeping communications super guarded, or worse, just avoiding each other completely. These are the telltale signs of a team that's falling apart. But the teams that worked, the ones that were really effective, they consistently did three key things. First, they actually sat down and talked about their roles and responsibilities. Second, They made it normal to give honest, direct feedback, but they always did it in private. And third, and this is the big one, they kept the focus on the mission and the soldiers, not on their own egos. And maybe this is the most important lesson of all. The point isn't to have a team where the officer and NCO never disagree. In fact, an NCO who never pushes back can be a very dangerous thing. The real goal is to take that inevitable conflict and turn it into something constructive, a process that makes the team smarter, safer, and better at their job. So let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just a military thing, right? This dynamic exists in pretty much any organization. In your office, on your team, there's always a tension between the person with the official title and the person with the years of hands-on experience. So the real question this research leaves us with is, for any team, how do we balance that? How do we build a culture that honors both the title and the hard-won expertise?